Kristin, thank you for waiting.
Hi.
For all the headlines,
Yes.
so that we could talk to you. I got your website here, KristinSjoquist.com. Make sure you check that out. Got reels and things on there. I guess introduce yourself. You were at the DAT tour with us in Miami, but for those who didn't watch that presentation, tell everybody who you are.
Sure. So I am Kristin Sjoquist. I am a motion designer in the Sarasota, Florida area. I've worked for a plethora of different companies. I've worked at Hasbro, ESPN. I'm currently with A&E Networks, and I just love what I do.
You worked at Hasbro?
Yes, briefly.
What were you doing at Hasbro?
So I was on their, the division was called Cake Mix. It was their advertising side, so it was the commercials for the different products.
That's really fun.
Nice. Did you work? Have you worked with Whitney at all? That was on DAT.
No, unfortunately, we connected while we were in Miami. Unfortunately, she was on the more toy design side, and they kind of kept us pretty separate, unless there was like, hey, there's a very specific feature of this toy that we need to make sure gets highlighted. You know.
Gotcha.
I told Jags that he needs to meet Whitney. Because Jags is really getting into that toy design stuff. So do an intro.
I've been doing a lot of product design this past week for toys specifically. It's been a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been doing product design in Volume Builder to properly put things together.
Dude, the Volume Builder to remesher workflow is just so good. It's so good.
I don't need no make it look grade 11. What are you talking about? Anyway, you are a student of Brodeur, right? Brilly.
Yes.
Brilly.
But you have
now
a different
known as
name.
Brilly, yes.
What is your nickname for him?
We called him Brody.
Brody.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, we called him pretty much anything he would answer to. We were one of his first round of students, so he got the short end of that stick.
That's funny.
Locked and Loading, B-Dog.
Yeah, B-Dog, Bromeister. It basically, we just kept upping it until he eventually was like, I'm just not going to answer you guys anymore. And it's like, okay.
Oh, man. He's
like, fun
to tease.
Do you have bad stories, like embarrassing stories about him and stuff? I hope so.
Oh, man. How much am I allowed to say? Sorry, David. He, especially really early on, you know, I think it was his first time really teaching anything. So he was still trying to figure out the ropes and, you know, trying to figure out how to take the immense amount of knowledge that he has and put it out in such a way that students would be able to absorb it. And we did not make that job easy for him. We were difficult. It was also our thesis time that he first came in, so all of us are really hyper focused on that thesis project, making it this just masterpiece. But he really saved my butt a couple of times on some projects. There was one 3D project I was trying to do that I just could not. I was doing like a pull cord. I had green screened my hand in our studio to make it look like I was pulling a pull cord. And I, for the life of me, could not get it to work. I tried to use a piece of green yarn as what I was comping out to replace in 3D, and that was a mistake because it was the wrong color green. So I'm trying to pull it and like put like the beads in my hand, and he was looking at it and he was just like, "We need to reshoot this." I was like, "Yeah, I know."
That's funny.
But no, he was great. He was a spectacular teacher. Even with the difficult start of coming in with my class, he was a great teacher.
And you met your husband there as well, is that right?
That's right, I did.
Was he also one of Brodeur's students? I think I remember that correctly.
Yeah, he got Brody a little earlier on, so he got him more when he was a sophomore. And got more of like the 3D. The 3D education that he got from Brody in those early years was just amazing. He got to learn like lighting and texturing and all these extra features in it that we kind of got to get on the back end. So it was definitely a different experience for him.
Somebody in the chat says, always walked into class with a smart water bottle. Is that?
He did?
It's true. Oh, Allie. Hi, Allie. Yeah, he did.
I love the great mixture of 2D and 3D on your
Yeah.
reel.
Thank you.
You know, that's one thing I wish I had more on my reel was some of the 2D stuff, because I feel like a lot of clients are looking, I don't know, with the C4D stuff, they're always looking for After Effects as well, or specifically motion design. A lot of them are looking for After Effects. So, yeah.
So one of the things we were going to talk about today is finding personal happiness and success in your field. Of course, besides money helps, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Very much.
But besides the money, we were going to talk about how you find happiness in what you do and in your success. So we'll just sit here and not talk and just let you. No, I'm just kidding. We'll join in as well.
That's how we don't find happiness.
Right. So how have you found personal happiness in what you do?
It's been hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially coming straight out of 4 years of learning all the technical, all the creative, all the jargon, and coming into it now suddenly you're a professional, and not only do you have to know the jargon, you also know how professional, exactly, there needs to be air quotes around that, because it just, you learn all this stuff and you're like, okay, I've learned everything, and you get out there and it's like, I have learned nothing. You've got to figure out how to adapt with it. You've got to figure out how to adapt to your different companies. You might get into a company and realize, yikes, this is not for me. And it might not be the company. Maybe it's the career. Maybe it is the company. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But they try so hard to prepare you for the creative side of it and the technical side of it, but no one can prepare you for the personal side of it.
Right.
Finding what it is that actually makes you happy doing motion design, and what you're willing to do as a professional, what you're, learning and then willing to not do ever again, like Roto. Never.
Never.
No one likes doing Roto.
You say it, but it's still going to happen.
That's
Every
what
time.
we need AI for. But
yeah, right?
Take the stuff we don't like.
Right. There's a lot of variables,
no.
so like I can imagine if you do get a project that you like for a company you like, and then just the people suck, just kind of ruins the whole deal.
Yeah, for sure. You've got to find that perfect balance between all of it, because there's always going to be something. Mm-hmm. Like there's never going to be the perfect job with the perfect people and the perfect projects.
I don't know. If I got paid to just not do anything, that sounds like a pretty perfect job.
But that's funny, because I've had some jobs that have that happen, where it's like you get nothing, and then you're sitting there
I do take that back. I've had that job too. It's not great.
Yeah, where it's like you're just sitting there, and is it me?
Right.
Am I the problem?
No, it's the kids who are wrong.
Yeah, it's always the kids. But we see a lot of students come through Ringling. My husband is a professor there now, so we get to interact with all of these up and coming students that are going to be, our next competition out in the field. Mm-hmm. And you see them prepping for places like Buck and places like Imaginary Forces, the big names, the heavy hitters. And then there are some of them where it's like, but I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do if I don't want to go out to that? And having to sit with them. There was one student last year. They were very talented, very amazing at illustration. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want to go into just animating. The average motion design job didn't fit them. Mm-hmm. And I sat with them for a while and talked to them of okay, what is it that does bring you joy then? What is it that you see yourself doing down the road? And why are you stressing yourself out so much that you don't fit the mold? Mm-hmm. And they are now a spectacular employee doing production recruitment, because they know what to look for in the designers and the animators, because they have that background education, and they could not be happier. They love being more on the production side of it, more the director side, and seeing that angle of it. Mm-hmm. being able to figure out, ask yourself those hard questions, whether it's while you're a student or while a professional, being able to ask yourself those questions and go, what is it that I really want to be doing with my time? 40 hours a week is a long time to be doing something that you hate.
Yeah.
Gosh, yes. Been there.
Yeah.
Haven't we all?
Yeah. And
normally it's those 60-hour weeks that you tend to hate more than the 40-hour week.
Right.
Yeah, if it's a 40-hour week, you're having a good week.
Right.
Right. I love working for myself. I love working on projects that I really get into that like hyper-focus mode, those kind of things. But a lot of that, like I'm doing by myself, just sit in my office. So I can understand how some people don't want to gear up for a job at Buck or one of those things. Maybe they want to be an artist, an actual artist, not just working for somebody else, but getting paid to do their art, NFTs and whatnot, which are still around, I guess. But over the years, like style and approach to motion design has changed for me. I don't know about you. Do you approach your projects differently than you did, like say, right when you graduated?
Oh, significantly differently. It's been, when I graduated, I had this rose-colored shade feel of like, I am going to have 2 weeks to create my concepts and make them perfect. And I am going to have another 3 weeks after that to design everything and make it perfect. And it's like, no, why don't you have an idea 2 hours ago? Like everything is so much more fast-paced, and there are times that you get to do that one passion project where it's like, yeah, I do have time to plan this all out and make it perfect and enjoy the process, but that's few and far between.
Yeah, it's tough to do that when people are waiting for an email from you with something all day, and they're like, come on, where is it? One of the
Let me just hit the animate button.
Yeah.
That was easy.
Again, in the comments, the hardest thing for kids to learn is to not compare yourself to other kids in the class. That was easy.
Yeah.
The thing that happens online, right, when you're comparing yourself to others, happens in real life if you're in school and you're in a class where those people are right there, right? And the teacher might be like, oh, that's really great. And you're like, well, mine's not. You didn't say mine was great.
I didn't have to worry about that. I was top of my class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I only say that because all the other kids who graduated with me, and I do say kids, they were all really shitty. So my stuff wasn't that good. The Art Institute would push through anyone as long as they paid their bills.
Well, and you're around people who might not necessarily be doing this to get into it for a living, I guess. Like especially if you're just at like a non-art college, right? Like college. It's like that's just one of the courses they're taking after science and some other things, But and then you've got like that one kid who's like really good in the class, and then all the other kids like crowd around the computer screen. Oh, and you're just sitting on the other side, like, dang it, my stuff's not that good. I can understand the stress, anxiety, depression, self-loathing, imposter syndrome, all the things. But it's one thing to like figure out that workflow, to evolve your style after you graduate, and then to stay inspired, of course, is hard to do too, right? Especially 10 years, 20 years down the line. Like, are you really still into it? Are you really still getting inspired? So there are steps you have to take to keep that going, right? To keep it fresh, like a marriage,
Yeah, I mean, avoiding burnout is impossible. You're going to burn yourself out. That's just the nature of the game. Especially for a creative, burnout is inevitable. But if you can find your outlets, if you can find things that do inspire you, whether it's taking classes in your spare time or just balancing yourself enough to be able to go for a walk every once in a while. Get yourself out of your little mushroom cave and go touch grass.
Go to Disney World.
Go to Disney World. Like, please, can we though?
Right.
But you have to find your little
We need
joys.
to do a Disney World meetup. That would be
Can we?
awesome.
Oh man.
Yes.
Here we go.
Can we?
I know at least a half a dozen people who would go.
I know at least 2.
Yeah. could be fun. I know Pickle Nick will go. Who else is big?
Pickle Nick will go.
Disney.
Alex Parker, we could probably get her to go. She works for Disney.
Yeah.
You know.
Birdie's a big Disney fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Him and I have hung
Disney.
out at Disney before. Let's see.
You get Jags.
What's his
Jags
name?
will go.
Oh yeah, Jags will go.
Yeah.
Jags never been to Disney World.
What?
That's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
We will make it the most
depends.
magical time ever.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're looking for. Disneyland is anyway. Whatever. We should do.
Do you want a tiny castle? Do you want a big castle? Can we
right? Do you want to feel like
fun.
horribly exhausted at the end of the day after walking like basically a half marathon, or do you want to feel just like medium exhausted after the day?
Yeah.
After walking a quarter marathon.
There's a reason they host marathons in those days.
Right?
It's because they're that
Right.
big.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite projects that you've worked on recently? Like, what's your favorite? What's your absolute favorite?
That you can talk about it.
That you can talk about.
That I can talk about. Yeah, there's a few that I'm not able to. Oh God, not my Behance.
Hey.
Oh no.
Hey, it's
That's
on
my
your
old college
it's
work.
on your thing, you know. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Yeah,
no.
I mean, if
It's
it's on your,
it's on the
if
link
it's on your-
tree
I've been discovered.
and the website. See, you know, it's like, hey, here's my stuff. Yeah.
I love it. No,
Do you have the shade thing in there? Do you have the pull shade thing in there?
Oh man, I don't. But no, I have different favorites for different reasons. Some of them are like some of my old ones where it's like I learned a very valuable lesson here, and I'm never doing that again.
Mhm.
Like that Orioles one. That was a junior year project, I think.
Mhm.
The Orioles, their spring break or their spring training headquarters are in Sarasota. So they were a client that the school brought in to do some graphics for. And it was great. It was so much fun. We had the team in our green screen room and we got to, shoot different things with them. And I decided for some reason that I was really into hand-drawn animation at the time and wanted to make the chicken dance hand-drawn.
Nice.
The big regret on this one was my teacher made me go up on the green screen room with the Orioles bird and do the chicken dance. There's footage of that somewhere. I don't know
Amazing.
where, and I am sure my husband will find it because
$20 to anyone who can find it for me.
It'll turn up when you run for office. Don't worry.
Right?
If you ever can't
Okay,
find,
that's-
it's like I can't find this old video of me anywhere on the internet. I'll just run for office.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
and then
somebody
it'll be
will-
found.
Yeah.
But no, like that one, like I learned the hard way, like, okay, no, hand-drawn animation is like a time-consuming task, and if you really want to do it, you've really got to dedicate the time to it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned on, oh gosh, what was it? The Season's Greetings card that I did.
Mm-hmm.
That was some character, and I did seasonings, so it was like a little pun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cute. But
So
designing
season's
those
greetings, but
characters-
it's like cinnamon and paprika.
I think I had salt, onion powder, paprika, rosemary, and pepper. I think those
Okay.
were my.
Those don't
lineup.
taste very savory. Those are more.
Yeah, it was a
I don't know.
variety. I don't know.
Not very sweet.
I wasn't going for sweet. I wasn't feeling
All right.
sweet at the time.
Yeah.
But like just designing those characters, the back and forth that I had with that was so hard. But I got to learn how to take critiques and actually adapt my designs to it in a way that addressed the problem. It was like reading between the lines. In terms of stuff that I've done recently, like my more recent work, I think the thing I'm most proud of right now is actually up on my Instagram. It's those balloons that I did for my birthday.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Your birthday
those are
was
really good.
2 days
Thank
ago.
you.
2 days ago.
Yeah,
right?
2 days ago. So
Happy
on Saturday.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank
I'll try and
you.
bring that up here. Yeah, I like those. You did the Mylars, right?
Yeah, it's the Mylar balloons. Shout out to iDesign for that
Yeah, I was
tutorial
gonna say.
because that saved my butt. Yeah, there she is. But it was I have never been particularly strong in 3D. Like in my education, I was pretty weak in it. I focused a lot more on 2D and hand drawn. And over the last 2 years, I've been forcing myself to relearn 3D. Like, I knew it was a thing I needed to know. I was like, nope, I've just got to do it. So I started taking more courses. I just made up projects for myself to give me a reason to be doing it. And I mean, I've gotten somewhere. I've gotten better than I used to be. And I'm proud of that one, I think, especially because that was one of the first 3D projects that I did, that I took a picture of it, sent it to my husband, and the first reaction I got was, whoa. Like, because he's my 3D guy. He's the 3D one in the relationship. And I got a genuine whoa out of him that it was actually good. I was like, that's it. I've made it. I can keep going now.
It's good to have that. It's good to leave that stuff up, right? You've got to be able to look at that when you feel like, oh, I'm not doing great. Like, my work sucks. You know, that feeling like, have a bad day. Go open up your old work, and then like critique it and be like, wow, I've improved. I mean, unless you haven't improved, in which case, I don't know what to tell you there. But hopefully you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we've been telling some of the students. Like, some of them, they'll look at the work that they're working on right now and they're like, oh, this is garbage. Oh, I can't make this work. Oh, what am I going to do? And I'm like, have you watched your freshman work lately?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no, because that's terrible. I was like, yeah, but look how far you've come. Look how much you've grown since then. Look how big of a difference it has made.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was Nick Campbell. I've said it before on the show, but a long time ago on, I don't know, some video he posted, he's like, if you don't hate your reel from a year ago, you haven't improved. So
yeah, it's
good to hate your reel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I hate mine.
Yeah.
I hate my current
As long as
reel.
you actually update it, then
Yeah. Well,
it was updated like 3 months ago. I don't like it.
I look at my first reel and it's pretty bad, so it was a long time ago. I'm old. All right, let's see.
We were sharing our first reels in our Halo group chat a few weeks ago, and it was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. Like, that imposter syndrome went away pretty quickly because, everyone else was just as bad.
Right.
That is the
except Vernon. Vernon was like amazing right off the bat.
Yeah. I think I won the award for the oldest reel. It was 1997.
Probably, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it was 3D too. Yeah.
I was funny. 4 years old, 3 years old.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Yikes. I'll have to send it to you. You have to see what was going on in the motion industry when you were 4 years old.
I'd love that.
Are you working in person or remote, or what is your day-to-day?
I am fully remote right now. So I'm with A&E Networks, which their base is up in New York City. Cool. But they've got a really great deal with the ability to work remote pretty much everywhere.
That's good. And has it, like, how has that changed? Has any of that changed for you? I mean, like, from other jobs, from previous jobs, like workflow wise, have you, like, working for a company like that? Like, I've never worked for a company in that aspect, remote. I've done a lot of remote. I work here, but like, how does that work? Do you have like a specific schedule that they have you adhere to, or their check-in times? Like, what is that like?
Sure. So it's very different from just freelancing, because I've done freelancing remote work as well, where it's like I get to dictate my schedule. As long as I can answer emails and I get it to them on the right deadline, then whatever, my hours are my hours. Here, I'm actually, I have designated like basically 9 to 5 hours that I have to be online. Checking my emails. I get my assignments through our Airtable that we use, and then from there I just go through the usual system of like, okay, this is where we upload, this is where you keep in touch, this is the pretty much living on Teams, which is great.
Yeah.
But no, before that I was doing some freelance remote work, which again, very different. But other than that, I've always been in person. There's only one other time that I worked remote for a company that I was supposed to be in person for, and it's because I was like super sick with a flu. But I only had so much PTO, so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll be out for 2 days, and then I'm just gonna, be in bed from my laptop and hope for the best. But But other than that, I've always been in person.
I think that's a question for a lot of people that are contract, and the way the economy is going and things. Some people are like, well, should I get a full-time job? And then it's like, well, where can I find a full-time job that lets me stay home and stay remote, right? So that was kind of like why I brought up that question, is because, and I'm sure every company is different, of course, but what is involved in doing that, the structure and the meetings and all of that, and how strict,
Especially with
are these companies? Are they watching your screen?
Yeah.
Like, are they screen sharing? Are they watching what you do, or?
Yeah, they're monitoring your mouse movements.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's definitely different for every company. With A&E right now, it's actually they trust us really well.
Nice.
I just have to keep myself active on Teams so that they can see that, I'm here, I'm sitting at my computer, I'm doing my thing. When we get assignments, we have like a little twirl down menu where it can be like, okay, what stage of the process are you at? Which has been super helpful, and that keeps everyone kind of off of each other's shoulders a little bit.
What project management software do they use?
Airtable.
Airtable.
Yeah.
I've never messed with Airtable.
It's nice. It's very customizable. Like this is my second round with A&E. They do 18-month long contracts.
Okay.
And then you have to take a year off because otherwise they'd have to hire you and give you benefits.
That's so nice. Sorry.
Yeah, right. I could go.
Yeah.
That's a topic
I think
could
Apple
go on
does
for
that
ages.
too.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies. It's a very New York thing, and I hate it.
Interesting.
But do they sometimes bring people on after that? If after that 18
if there's a
months,
position available,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hard part right now. Is like, especially like, okay, we're talking the difference between freelance and permalance and full time.
Yeah.
Right now, I would be considered more permalance, which is fine. It's great. But a lot of companies, they just will keep the amount of actual staff positions for full-time at like the bare minimum. And then the rest is filler with freelance or permalance. And there are some companies, I won't name names, who ignore those rules and keep people permalance past the designated point that you're supposed to be getting benefits.
Yeah.
Which for some people it works because it is technically consistent work. You're still getting your 40 hours a week. It's just different. But
and do
for
they
some
take out
people-
taxes and everything?
Yeah, I'm technically W-2.
That's so weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's strange. It's nice because like it's one less thing to think about. Like I've alternated between freelance and permalance a little bit now, and freelance is stressful when tax season comes around.
Yeah, it is. I'm
very stressful.
avoiding it like the plague right now. I got some money put aside. I'm really hoping that I just bought a car so that I could, bring down those taxes.
There you go.
The
Yeah.
thing that means the taxes.
Yeah. Pro tip: LLCs are a great way to avoid that. But it's been a very different, like, just environment doing permalance as opposed to the freelance stuff. But yeah, I as long as I keep active and as long as I keep up on my deadlines, like as long as I don't obviously miss something, then they're usually pretty chill. I've been with I've known a couple people at other companies where it was like, yeah, you have to have a screen recording going, or you have to have someone on call with you while you're doing this, and they're like, this is insane.
Yeah,
like,
so
especially when it
big
gets so bad that it's slowing down your computer. Like,
Yeah.
you're just making it slower.
Yeah,
It's like trying to be on Discord while you're working on a like complicated sim or something, Yeah, that's no fun. But I think it's great that they are allowing you to have a little bit of freedom there, and they just trust you. I mean, if you got to go downstairs and make a sandwich, or you want to go take a 5-minute walk and just vent for a minute and come back to what you're doing, it's more beneficial in the long run for what you're doing, I feel like. So I feel like if I owned a company like that, I would be the same way. Just as long as everybody's getting done what they got to get done, who cares, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. And the other topic we were going to talk about, our last topic here, is women in MoGraph. We had a pretty good conversation in Miami about inclusivity and everything. So what has been your experience in terms of like representation opportunities, like have you seen any shifts lately for the better, for the worse?
It's been it's a roller coaster, honestly. It's, you think you're taking 2 steps forward and then it's 3 steps backwards, and then it's back and forth. It's definitely better than early on. Just like we look back at our early demo reels to see how much we've improved since then. I try my best to look back at my previous jobs and see how much it's improved since then too. Very early on in my career, it was so bad with representation and so bad with sexism in the workplace and issues like that. And it was hard. It was really discouraging. Like one of the jobs, it was you either are on girls brands or boys brands, and the girls were constantly put on girls brands.
That's crazy.
Like there was a very distinct separation between it. And it was really uncomfy. And there was one time I got put on a boys brand. I don't know how. I think it just was how things got divided up. But I got put on a boys brand, and the team, like the team that was like in charge of it, not actually in the motion graphics side of it, but the like legalese and the producers and all that, were not having it. They were not happy that I was the person working on it.
That's crazy.
It was so wild. And thankfully, they didn't take me off the project. And it turned out being one of their best performing ads on YouTube that they had had in years, which, but just saying. But it was hard. And then I ended up after that, I was at ESPN, which like you would think that'd be a super male driven industry, especially in motion graphics. No, it was all women.
Wow, really?
The entire department was there was maybe one guy.
Amazing.
Which was strange.
Yeah.
Here we are. But it's been good watching, looking back on those first early companies that I would work for and those challenges and the difficulties, and seeing now that, with A&E where I am currently, they're great. They're so great with equality and like keeping things even and, actually encouraging talent and skills instead of the person. So there's been a significant improvement in my time in this career, and it's just a matter of it spreading to the rest, because that one company is not the only one that's like that. I'm very fortunate that I was able to jump ship out of that one real fast, but it is going to be a challenge moving forward, because it's not just being the new girl on the team or just being the girl on the team. As you get older, there's other reasons that they find to, discriminate against those kinds of employees. There's never going to be any sort of statistics on it because there's always going to be another reason. But like there have been people that I know where they come back from maternity leave and immediately get fired. There have been people that I know who get put on these big projects and then they get put on just this tiny little piece of it, so they're not really a part of it. It's things like that where it's like, we've got a long way to go.
And also networking events, community events, things like that. I don't know exactly how to go about it besides spreading the word, like as far as I'm concerned, but like how do we get more women to come to networking events and meetups and everything, and so it's just not a big bro fest? Like how can we encourage this?
Yeah, it's a tough question, because half the battle is women taking that step to go to those things. Half the battle is, I am going to make the time to go to this. The main reason I went to DAT was, after you guys invited, it was just like, okay, no, I have to do this. I have to represent. And, seeing that you guys made such a diverse panel, oh my gosh. Mwah. But,
thanks.
Yeah, no, it was great.
We didn't in every city, but we tried.
We tried.
We tried.
We definitely tried. And
but
think
that's
what
the
we
part
run
that
into.
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are clearly trying, because there's a visual, evidence of the other panels that you guys put together that was like, yeah, we did really try. And, half the battle is, finding people who will actually try, finding people who will be welcoming and inviting and bring you into the fold. Like, I cannot stress enough how amazing it was being at DAT and around all of these big names and all of these people that I was taught to like get inspiration from, to look to, and them just welcoming me in like one of the guys, like welcoming me in, and all the girls there as like, yeah, you are a part of this community. The motion graphics community on an internal level really has the potential to be incredibly inclusive. It has so many good people in it. Everyone here just wants to make pretty things for the sake of making pretty things.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be those bad apples that ruin it. So I think you guys are really just on the right track with opening the door, allowing people to come in and do the thing, and creating a welcoming and safe environment for people to come into. And for any girls who are watching this who want to know, this is a safe environment. You guys will be okay here. Just take that step, take the leap, big deep breath, and it's going to be great.
We're cool people. Us motion designers.
Most
Come
of the
hang
time.
out with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is hard for us sometimes, because there will be a city where we know all these people, and we or we know, or those people know other people, right? Like the whole networking thing. And then we'll go to like a city in Europe where we don't know anybody, and we can't find anybody. And so I think it's also a matter of like, don't be afraid to recommend. Like if if you know people doing these things, don't be afraid to recommend people to come, or ask people to come with you or whatever, because sometimes it's just I didn't know anybody in Germany, or like that was a tough one. That was a really tough one. There was one in particular, Matt, I can't remember which one it was, but in overseas, which city was it?
Was Germany.
Was it Germany?
Yeah, it was Germany.
It was tough. It was tough, and the contrast between that and Miami, so we're trying.
It's a huge wake-up call in an industry that is so connection-based, realizing that you actually don't have as many connections as you think. Because I thought I had a whole bunch of connections, and then I went down to DAT, and I was like, whoa, there's a bunch of people I don't know.
Yeah. I had that shock the last time I went to the UTD meetup. It's like, oh, there's a whole bunch of students that I don't know, that I should know, who don't know me at all, and should know MoGraph, Let me introduce you to MoGraph.com.
Jen says daytime meetups on the weekends might encourage more women to go. We've kind of been back and forth on some of these things because, I think when we first met Barton, he said, you need to do Thursday nights. And we're like, why Thursday nights? We were going to do a Friday. And he's like, well, because Friday everyone wants to go home.
Yeah.
Or they have plans or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Saturday, they're not going to want to get up and go back into downtown or wherever they work and do that thing. They need something Thursday night. They can leave work and go check it out. They still have to go home and go to work the next day, but that's an interesting thought. And, we've never done a Saturday before. So
no, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
There's a place over here by my place. There's a couple of breweries. There's one brewery. You've been to that one. That was a fun place. And then there's another one that has a whole outdoor area thing. Maybe we should do one at what's the food truck place? What's that food truck place?
Oh, it's Truck Yard.
Truck Yard, yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We should do that.
What advice would you give to aspiring young female motion designers who are looking to carve out their place in this? Either they've just graduated or maybe they haven't even started their education yet.
Don't let it limit what you aim for. Don't limit yourself on top of the limitations that other people could potentially put on you already.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the hardest part, really, is fighting back on the experiences that you have that make you feel smaller, and reminding yourself you don't need to be small. You do not need to be small. You can be who you are and be large and proud and happy with what you are doing. And there will be someone out there that will take that and make it amazing. You don't need to settle for people who are trying to put you down.
That's great.
Straight up.
Yeah. Straight up.
There's another way I could have said it, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube.
Oh, this is an interesting. Breweries are going to generally turn out more male than female turn. That's something I've never thought of is venue.
Huh.
You know?
Yeah.
What are those other venues though? I don't really know where else to hang out besides a bar,
Yeah.
or a restaurant. You know.
There's some places like that bar that we did in Miami was actually pretty chill. It had a nice.
Yeah, Dave hasn't stopped talking about that bar in Miami since it happened.
Awesome. That place is
That was
awesome.
fun.
It really was.
Funny.
I was disappointed
But
Rev
yeah,
couldn't come because he was going to
Yeah.
DJ with me, but But yeah, we got to do it again. Like I really next time we go to Miami, we got to go there again. It was so chill, so chill.
I mean, Disney meetup. That seems
Disney meetup. I'm telling you, that's it. That's it.
Disney meetup.
There is no greater connection with the MoGrapher than sitting in It's a Small World. 20 minutes, right?
I don't know.
Collective trauma.
Right?
The TikToks I've been seeing lately, I'm kind of raring to go back to It's a Small World. Seems like there's a lot of shenanigans going on in there lately.
I know, right? Well, one was Disneyland. The other one was Disneyland Paris. So you're okay in Disney World.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So far.
So far.
We'll
Yes.
see.
Keyword.
Yeah.
Yeah, Allie, that's a good one. She said, I would love to see
meetups.
more studios host. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would like that. Unfortunately, you've got a bunch of studios that are all remote now,
Right.
It's like
Even online meetups though, because I know Joey with School of Motion does a whole bunch. Like I missed 2 of them last week because I was busy. Yeah. But like he hosts all these online meetups. That those especially are so easy for people to just I just need to commit. I'm gonna set the timer on my phone and I'm gonna go do it. I know it's not the same as being in person, and it feels a little more difficult to like speak up and say things and be recognized, but that one meeting might be the one place that you actually get a chance to talk to the right person at the right time. But it's not going to be a chance if you never sign up.
Yeah.
The hardest part about that for me is I don't like to drink on a virtual meetup. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
I don't like to
feel like
you're
drinking.
Use a water bottle and pretend it's vodka.
Right?
Yeah. Pass out before I can turn off my camera.
Or use a water bottle and fill it with vodka.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't wait to hang out in person again. Hopefully Miami. Oh, hopefully NAB actually.
I would love that.
Yes.
It's on my bucket list. That and SIGGRAPH. I am ready to go.
NAB is more fun than SIGGRAPH, I'll say that much.
Because
it's in Vegas.
Yes.
But SIGGRAPH in
best.
Denver this year should be pretty fun.
Yes.
That'll be pretty nice.
And the whole Denver thing, there's just so many people in Denver. Maybe we should do some sort of pre-meetup event or something. I don't know. Something. There's so many people there.
SIGGRAPH, MoGraph karaoke.
SIGGRAPH, MoGraph.
No one wants me singing karaoke.
I feel like Denver, there's just so many motion designers there. And
yeah.
So we got to do something. I don't know. We'll
Luis,
think on that for a while.
he'd come to Disney with us.
Yes.
He's a big Disney guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if people want to find you online, where can they find you at?
My Instagram is at showoff. I think that's it there underneath my... There it is.
Oh, I just got that.
Spelled SJO.
Yeah. SJO underscore OFF. That's been a family thing. My dad is a pilot, so his is air show.
Oh,
my sister was
That's
a dancer, so hers was dance show. So I had to do something. It's a family tradition.
Right.
So I'm show off.
Okay. See, in my family, we have with Koss, we say Kossum. Something is Kossum. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We just always get
Kossum.
Milkhead or Millhouse.
Millhouse.
Oh no.
Thrill Ho. I just got that. I can't believe it took me since August to realize that that's what your name was.
It doesn't help that you don't really hear the last name that often.
Yeah.
That's part of why in the intro to my my reel, I have it type out the phonetic first and then backspace to do the correct spelling.
I like that.
Because that was
It's like when you're reading a book, you know?
Yeah.
And like it's like ran across the road to meet and you know, this is the way I read it in my head.
We had the officiant at my husband's wedding. We're huge Lord of the Ring fans. So he and the officiant had only ever read the books. He'd never seen the movies, but he wanted to include it in what the little talk that he was giving, and he pronounced it Gandalf.
Oh.
Instead of Gandalf. And me and my husband are sitting there just like, we can't correct him, but go on.
Yeah.
This is great.
That's funny.
There's one I did on a show one time, and it was just, I was like so embarrassed. I can't remember what it was, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like Gone with the Wind. I've never heard it out loud before. No. I don't remember what word it was, but
I didn't know how to pronounce Hermione's name for like the first 3 books until the movie came out.
Hermione,
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for joining us. We're going to take off. We're going to just real quickly remind you to check out those sweet Camp MoGraph tickets for Australia, and keep an eye out for the American version, of course, and ticket sales and all of that. Check us out at mograph.com, mograph.com/TV. Turn it on, rip the knob off. You can check us out on youtube.com/mograph. TikTok, of course, we're actually live right now. Nobody's watching. That's
TikTok.
All right. Well, we'll work on that.
Work day.
And Instagram, we're going to be doing some more short form content and things. But that's about it. That about wraps it up. Thanks again. And we're going to get out of here. Till next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.
Pretty good, I guess.